Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual. I'm your host, Srekcuf5, and joining me as always is the magnificent DorkyDev. Say hi, Dev.
Hello.
There he is. He's unmuted himself. He did the thing. Okay. So, I was telling Dev that right before the show started that I was waiting for my dad to get home so I could help him do groceries. And right as I hit the go live button, he came home. So, Dev, can you distract for 2 minutes while I help my dad real fast? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you could have just let the intro run for longer.
The song's only 2 minutes long. Whatever.
Have a backup song.
I'll be literally right back.
Motherfucker, god damn it. Hello. I am DevBot. I can't do anything that is going to be more entertaining than right now. I'll be honest. I'm put on the spot right now. We're not talking about the movies right now. You know what? No, you know what I'm going to say right now? This was a weird week. I don't know. 2000s was a weird time. Like the year 2000 was weird. Like really weird. Charlie's Angels 1 really explains that a lot. I don't know, it's weird. Yeah. This is entertainment. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what he expected of me. He threw me on the spot. I wasn't prepared for this. What was I supposed to do? I don't know what he wanted me to do. I don't know what he want. I don't know what he want. I don't know what he want, dude. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All right, now I don't know what's going on. How's everyone doing? I guess. That's something I can say, right? How's everyone doing? I'm doing all right.
Sorry, I just brought up groceries. Whew. I'm tired now.
Fair enough.
So what'd I miss?
Nothing.
Cool. Nothing happened, huh?
Pretty much.
Cool. Alright, well, give me one more second to catch my breath. Because ran down 2 flights of stairs. And then we'll get on with it. Okay. So, just to start this off, did you have any expectations for these movies at all?
No.
No.
And somehow the first one falls below that.
Honestly. God. So, I'm thankful we didn't watch the sequel. So, let's just get into it. Let's talk about what we're talking about today. So, I wasn't really original with the title this week. I called it Angels We Have Seen on High. Kind of like the song, but we were watching angels.
Hate you.
I know. With that being said, I think it's obvious that we're watching Charlie's Angels.
Charlie Chases.
The Charlie Changers. Charlie's Angels
Charlie's
from the year
Angels.
2000, and then Charlie's Angels from the year 2019, the one that just came out. So, anything you want to say or do before we get into talking about these two movies?
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything I can say.
Okay. In that case, let's just dive right on in and get into talking about our first hour and a half long romp that was Charlie's Angels. And that was released in the year 2000. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry, still kind of catching my breath. Okay. So, Charlie's Angels, this movie. It's, let's see, an hour and a half long, I'll say. An hour and 38 according to IMDb. And it's an hour and 38 minutes I'll never get back. Like, this movie is filled with dumb 2000 tropes, bad music, and very bad action, and barely a story. Like, this movie was definitely made to be like, look at these women on screen. Don't you think they're attractive? And that's about it.
Kinda, yeah.
That was the whole point of this movie.
That's the only way to explain it.
So,
It is, yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. This movie, I don't know what to say about it. It was, I don't want to necessarily, it was kind of painful. No, it was kind of painful.
like, I would say the best part of it was the after the movie, the like blooper credits. Those were pretty good.
Yeah, those were actually genuinely good.
But for during the movie, a lot of the stuff didn't make. I mean, it's all very loosely connected together. All a good portion of it is supposed to be like slow motion, but it's not like real slow motion either. Almost,
No,
it's just like they slowed down the footage in post production, and that's about it. So,
just kind of lame.
it really was this whole movie. I mean, it's literally just all innuendo. It's PG-13, and it's all like hypersexualized and not very good. Don't get me wrong. Like, I watched it this morning, threw it on the side. Every once in a while, it gave me a nice chuckle, and I think it was mostly because of Bill Murray.
Yeah, I would say it's probably because Bill Murray's always funny.
Mm-hmm. One of the worst scenes probably has to be towards the end, where they're saving Bill Murray, and then it's like the fight scene in the 3 different areas, and it's like super confusing and what's going on. Well, I mean, you can kind of make sense of it, but all in all, it's just very poorly put together, poorly shot, very minuscule plot line about women who look attractive and apparently are spies. But yeah,
They don't do a lot of spying.
no. Like
I
this
don't know.
movie.
It's if early Bond women
Mhm.
had a spy agency.
Almost, yeah. This it definitely yada yadas a lot of things. Like and it's mainly because it's people being like, yeah, men they're dumb when it comes to women, right? Yeah, look at
Dude, that limo driver or the Bentley driver
yeah,
has the only explanation is he's never seen side boob.
right. Oh, oh, it feels so good. I've come undone. Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
And then, yeah, it just or the stupid director dude with the German tuba stuff. Like this whole movie is just silly, dumb stuff that they got these women actresses to do.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like it could probably be empowering in some way. Be like we're women and we use the tools that we have at our disposal to get anything done, but it doesn't do that in this movie.
There are better movies that do that better.
Absolutely. So,
Um, it was weird seeing some of these people in this film who really haven't been in pretty much anything since then that is noteworthy. Um, big one, Chad, played by Tom Green.
is it the Chad?
There's LL Cool J who shows up sporadically through like through things. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's currently like he's on NCIS Los Angeles, but like movie wise, it's sporadic when he shows up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, you've got where is he? Matt LeBlanc, who again sporadic when he shows up.
There's just yeah, it's kind of weird because there's some. You look at some of these names. Some of them could be pretty big names. Some of them not so much. All the same, it's a good mix of what like it's a good mix of what could have been a really good movie, but I just don't think it really paid off.
No,
The
also
the payoff, literally, like the approach that they had was like, let's just do this thing, and then because we're appealing to a bunch of male producers, let's make it sexy. I don't know. It's just
also Marty McFly's dad was evil.
Marty McFly's dad. Which one was that again?
The killer, Thin Man.
Thin Man. Oh, there he is. Literally just called Thin Man. That's right.
He was George McFly in the first um, Back to the Future.
I remember that.
I don't know. It's just this movie has a lot of talent in it.
It really
Like
does. There's good talent. Just
our main
bad
four.
approach.
Let's go. Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Bill Murray have proved that they can act in other films.
Mm-hmm. To a degree.
But the three ladies really didn't have much to work with. And Bill Murray, I legitimately think, didn't give a fuck.
Oh yeah, honestly, like when I try to think of especially when it comes to Bill Murray, like he was funny for sure, but he at no point to me screamed assistant to a bunch of spies.
Yeah. Also, this movie has Sam Rockwell,
Mm-hmm.
a fantastic actor,
Mm-hmm.
and fucking Tim Curry,
Mm-hmm. Tim
who is
Curry's always one of my
wasted.
favorites.
Tim Curry is wasted. I don't know.
Hey,
It's
he
just,
gets this really odd close up with a foot near his mouth, so.
oh god, that was weird. This movie's weird. It's weird 2000s. I mean, I can see why some people appreciate it, like maybe as that because if you watched it a lot, like throughout your life, I can understand an appreciation for it. But as really my first real viewing of this film,
Mhm.
and us having done this show for as long as we have, man, this just we've watched a lot of better film.
We have. We really have. I put this movie off as long as I possibly could. And then after watching it, I wish I could have put it off longer.
I don't blame you. That's why I got it out of the way first thing this weekend. I was like, all right, Saturday, go to the theater. I'm going to watch this real quick and then go to the theater. Cool. There's that block of time. I don't know. It's weird. It's just it didn't know what it was supposed to be. That's part of it. It's in the weird era. The 2000s was weird. Like we had weird superhero films, weird action films. We were going into a new era. That's the only way I can explain it, because like there's no other way to explain what we've just viewed. This was released to cinema.
This is just like the most 2000s movie you can get. The only thing that would make it more 2000s is Smash Mouth.
Somebody once
Yeah.
told me.
But we got Think I'm Turning Japanese. So, like,
Yeah, we did. That was. I was sitting there like, is this racist?
I feel like a lot of it could be misconstrued or possibly very much taken as racist. Like,
I mean, it's not that far fetched because most of this movie is. This is sexist.
but literally, what they did is they had the three women dressed up in traditional, like, kimonos and things, right? And then
Yep.
the song da 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 da. I think I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning. It's just like, oh, really?
Yeah, dude. I heard the notes play, and I'm like, oh, weird. They actually just played that because in high school and in middle school, that's the first thing you learn on xylophone. Even if you don't play xylophone, you learn that because it's really easy. And then it goes into the song, and I'm like, oh my god, this was a song.
That was a song. I
This
hadn't heard that in a
was,
long time, but it was a song.
yeah, yeah, it was a song. That's the only way to describe it. It was a song.
Now
That's
I
the
don't know
key
what to
thing.
classify it as.
Garbage.
Sure. It's garbage rock.
Really is. And
Okay.
the fighting was so weird because it was like this came out before Shrek. If I remember
Yes.
correctly, Shrek was 2001. If I remember correctly.
I believe you're correct.
I need to double check that. We just watched it. I should know.
2001 Shrek.
Okay, yeah. And like the fact that Cameron Diaz would go on to almost parody these characters with her voice acting character of Fiona just shows that like she again, this cast isn't a bad cast. They've proved themselves in other shows, other movies.
Hmm.
It's just it's not well written. It's 2000s. It's so 2000s and it hurts. Goddamn oh man.
I mean,
That's really the only way I can describe it is it's 2000 put into a capsule.
yeah, it's very much so. Even like just some of the effects, some of the poses, the
Oh
dialogue,
yeah.
the music. It's just all the cringiest parts of 2000. And
Yep.
let's just kind of leave it at that. I think we're circling a little bit. So,
Yeah,
Dev,
because I mean, there's not much more we could say. Like cinematography was man,
Very much so.
music choices were again 2000s,
Mhm.
especially the end when all of a sudden all the small things started playing, and I'm like, oh no, Blink 182, no,
She left me roses for the
I'm
stairs.
obsessed. Tell me that she really cares.
Say it ain't so.
So
No,
I wanna go.
we don't need any more of that.
No, we don't.
Okay, Dev. So I'm just gonna let's just end this.
Suffering.
Yeah, like they should have ended the movie long before they did. And I'm gonna give you 10 popcorn kernels.
Give it a 4.5.
That's exactly what I was gonna give it.
Fair enough.
Like this movie is just so. I'm sure maybe if I was really drunk one night, I bet you anything this would be a great party movie at TwitchCon. Like everyone just
Potentially.
hmm. Like everyone just getting drunk watching these.
No, no, no. We weren't mocking Blink 182. We were mocking the fact that it was in the end, like the start of the credits of this film, because
So
it
it's
just it extra dated. It extra dated this film as it's the first song that starts playing when the credits start.
dude, just when the intro starts, when it shows the title card, it's them jumping into the air and then they're outlined and then like this waving acid looking shit just starts appearing and you're like, wow, that's 2000s. Also, hi
Yeah.
Dragon. I'm glad I know how to summon you. If ever I'm lonely in the stream, I'm just gonna be like, wow, Blink 182 sucks, and then you'll
No,
appear.
that's
And
not mocking. You've got to mock Blink 182.
yeah, yeah,
Like
so I would not go. Turn your lights off and
you
hear
don't
you
have to use
now.
the same song.
Fine.
There are other songs.
Um, give me a second. I'm trying to remember the specific song. I'm thinking, what was it? Danny's song?
Adam song?
That one was the one I was thinking of, but I can't remember the lyrics now. Fuck it.
Fair enough.
I'll figure it out later. This isn't a music podcast. This is a movie podcast.
It is. And man, this movie was something else.
Yes. So overall, very obviously, we're gonna average it out and give it a 4.5. Mock Lincoln Park. I think they mock.
I will say,
themselves.
hey, that's mean. They're fantastic. They are music icons.
I thought they were fantastic before they kind of like changed their music.
See, it's that mindset.
They were cool back in my day when they were cool before they were popular.
It's that mindset
See,
that stunts artists where they are, not letting them change, experiment with new styles,
I
man.
mean, their new styles were okay for sure, but I just preferred their older stuff better myself.
That's
They
fair.
can always have a newer
Doesn't mean
audience.
it's better.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And also, Dragon, that you're the only person who could say that and actually be like maybe a threat. It'd be cool to see you in person again, but then I know if I do, I'm gonna die. So
Also, do you know Alex Trebek was in this film?
yeah, playing himself apparently.
When?
I
I didn't see a
I looked
2000s
away
Trebek.
apparently.
Apparently. When did he show up?
Let's see. Alex Trebek. If I click on him, where is he? I'm just gonna look it up in Google. Alex.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Alex. So he gets there first. Lucky I just searched Alex Trebek. In charge. Angels. Images. Oh, he's the pastor at the wedding.
Really? That's it, huh?
Maybe? No, I'm not sure.
Let's say I just see a bunch of him, like pictures of him standing on the set of Jeopardy.
I don't see. Oh wait, Cameron Diaz's character was on Jeopardy.
Oh, that's right. In the very beginning, when they're introducing their characters. Ah, we're are we dumb?
No, no, we are not dumb because that's a really dumb way to introduce your characters. Can we talk about that for a moment? Actually, no, I did want to talk about that. That's something we can talk about. Don't introduce your characters with showing off each of their archetypes as their intros.
I mean, also by that fact, like they show off their intro archetypes, and none of that matters in this movie.
No, it doesn't because they all can do the same skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Except Cameron Diaz's character is a little bit better at hacking than others.
I'd
Maybe.
say so.
It's also Lou also fucking hacks towards the end.
She does. She does most of the hacking at the end, but her hacking doesn't really seem to do anything, other than let the angels also know where they're going. So
Yeah, I don't.
I give most adorable to Drew Barrymore for her moonwalk. Uh,
That was actually kind of funny.
I agree. It was not a moonwalk, but it was definitely funny.
Just like I knew it was coming, but then the music starts. Dude, 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 dude,
Yeah.
dude, and it's such a pause of what weird action there has been.
Which
It's a weird moment of levity, and I kind of face palmed a little bit, but also chuckled a little bit.
I was about to say, just thinking about that scene reminds me of just all the wires that they had to use in these action scenes.
I will say, some of it's like it's impressive from a standpoint, the action, but also not in another standpoint.
Yeah, like
Because
go ahead. Sorry.
well, because you can break up action in movies
Mm-hmm.
by certain eras.
Mm-hmm.
There's before Matrix and after Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is like the first major action moment, right? Because the Matrix redefined action.
Yeah.
And then if we go like another decade later, we have pre and post John Wick,
Mm-hmm.
where action has been redefined through that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had little stepping stones throughout that, like, pre and post Born Identity. Stuff like that, where certain things are kind of like have changed it enough that it's noticeable, but not enough that like it has redefined how we view action.
Mm-hmm.
In
See,
movies.
my thought was this movie is kind of right at the end of the time when like this kind of wire work stunts that they had is acceptable, really. Like
Right?
because shortly after this, there's the start of like CG action where it's very noticeable and not very good, but it almost the fights seem more realistic when they're not
Well-
jumping 7 feet over each other. And then
The
we
thing
have
is-
modern action where we get John Wick's and Mission Impossibles, where it gets just really good and it's all in person.
The thing is, this came out a year after Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't feel like it's a year after Matrix.
It's because they didn't try as hard. Like Matrix feel if it's almost like if I were to put commitment into years, I'd say the commitment and dedication into Matrix would probably equate to 3-4 years worth of work. And in this movie, Charlie's Angels, I'd probably equate it to 1.5, maybe a year's worth of hard work into making a movie.
That's fair. I don't know, it's weird thinking about it because like this is technically a post Matrix film, but it doesn't feel post Matrix.
Because it's not really.
It's not.
No one
At
else
this point,
really saw it, but what were you going to say?
You might as well just move the stand this way and just talk into it sideways at this point.
Hi.
There we go. Hello. You look like a real podcaster.
Yeah, it's podcasting right here in the mic. I have to have my little dial right here to make it perfect.
If only I was in control of the audio, I could start lowering you without like them seeing it. Um, no, it's a weird era. Is the best way to put it. It's like you just I don't know how else to put it because it's a weird era. So that's just
So yeah.
because it doesn't fit to where it's supposed to be because you can tell it's because there are certain points where you can tell it's post Matrix, but it doesn't feel post Matrix.
Hmm.
And I think that's what hurts it the most in the action department. Because if the action was more thought out, I think this movie would be better.
I would.
Genuinely think so. Because it could be a campy 2000s action film
Hmm. Because
instead
then
of
it would
just,
actually have something to talk about other than the fact that this is just blatant sexism on screen.
yeah, yeah. There was a little bit of beating around the bush, but like that's really what this film is. It's if there was a movie that defined the male gaze,
You're not wrong. And chasing, to be completely honest, we did not mention Lucy's sexy teacher whip scene.
though I want to talk about it. You watched Rooster Teeth content.
Yes, I do.
Did Drew Barrymore look like Chad in her man outfit? Chad from Death Battle, Chad from Rooster Teeth.
You know, maybe slimmer up a little bit, then I could see it. Like depending on the screen, like the still.
Because like there were several scenes where I'm like, holy shit, that looks like Chad.
It's like at times I see it and at times I don't because it all depends on like what angle we're looking at her from.
Yeah, it really did depend on the angle, but there were certain angles that I was like, holy shit, Chad could be Drew Barrymore's double in this film. You just have to like change the eyes just a little bit to be more Drew Barrymore, and then you have it. It was really weird. I don't know, like it really broke the scene for me, in a way that not to the movie's fault because Screw Attack Chad didn't exist at that point. I mean, he existed, but he didn't exist to the to the popularity he has today. Um, but it was really weird.
Yeah, like it's pretty close. It's just that her features are more rounded compared to his.
Yes, it would be like a young Chad if he had the beard that he has today.
Yes, modern beard, young face.
Modern beard and hair, young face. Because young Chad is a lot skinnier.
Hmm.
And he's not like put on weight in a bad way. I mean, more just he's grown up.
Yeah,
Is the best way to put it. Um, and so like yeah, it's weird. For the one time that the scene was broken and it's not the movie's fault, that's why. So
hmm, I getcha. But still, the I'll be honest. It's just that was the whip scene there, the sexy teacher whip scene, was really just another one of those God, are we really doing this right now? Moments
yeah.
for me.
Also, Melissa McCarthy.
Hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, this film was just so stereotyped about that scene being like, of course, the stereotypically not attractive 2000s woman is gonna call Lucy Liu a bitch.
Hmm.
Like, it felt really just a little too on the nose 2000s.
Yeah, trying to like get women to fight against each other over body image and things.
Yeah, yeah, 2000s was. Thank God we live when we do today.
Yeah, when people try to be PC and then other people are extremely the opposite direction.
But at least it's easier to call that shit out.
All right,
Because,
let's
like,
stop dwelling on this and let's move on to our next movie.
which may make us dwell on it a couple times,
True.
but nowhere near as much.
Exactly. So, because yeah, we're dwelling a little bit. Let's talk about Charlie's Angels, made in 2019. So, first thing I have to say, I would say objectively, this is a better movie.
I
How
would
much
say
better? Not much.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say it's personal opinion. I'd say it's far better than the other one. But also, it's because it's more of a modern film. I will say probably what will hinder this movie going forward is its music choice, as it will become dated.
Of course. For me, it was two things that got like that kind of bugs me. It's one was the music choice, and two was once again the action and the cinematography for the action. Like overall, the very first scene that I think of honestly is the one that catches me. Like when we're in the diner and the fight breaks out. Like that was a jumbled mess of shaky camera and poor like place continuity. Not that like things were mis out of place or anything, like misplaced or anything. It's just that it was hard for us to understand what was going on and where, like, what direction we were trying to throw ourselves because everything was poorly put together. And then it kept happening in the action scenes later on. It was definitely better than the 2000s version. Like the action, like the choreographed fights themselves made a lot more sense. It's just how they were shot and edited did not make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, I can agree with that. It just it wasn't like the action felt like it felt like really no, it felt like a 2010 action scene.
I
This
like how you're
we can do
just
that.
specifying years every time, but I get you.
We can do that.
You don't have to, but yeah.
It feels like a Jason Bourne style fight scene. Jason Bourne, the Bourne trilogy identities, what kind of I don't want to say patented that, but sort of started that trend. But it did in a way that it still stayed somewhat coherent. And the only times it wasn't coherent was because it was purposely incoherent, for a reason. Um,
How many drop frames do I have? Internet is lagging, and I think I've lost Dev. Hello? Hello? Dev? You hear me? I'm leaving the call then.
Hello?
What the hell's happening?
Wait, can you not hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, okay.
But in the video call before, you were just completely frozen, and
I saw.
yeah. Oh, why does this keep happening?
I don't know. We're not doing anything else beyond the normal. This is weird. It's weird. I don't know. No, it felt very much. The problem was that it didn't keep the coherentness that you need if you're going to do a sort of like cut punch cut punch cut punch fight. Where you're kind of in the action itself a little bit more and almost moved with the action. Whereas like you don't get that with like fight scenes from like, let's say, the Daredevil hallway fight or a John Wick style fight,
Yeah.
which was kind of to its detriment. Not necessarily that. Again, I will say there's been worse, probably even this year, that we just missed.
Like action films?
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely.
But at the same time, it definitely like its biggest problem with the action was that it's just like you can't quite. It cuts before you process.
Did
Which is,
yeah? Just random question. Did the Anna movie come out yet?
yeah.
Okay. Because after watching this movie, I kind of wanted to watch that movie because I was hoping that with this version of Charlie's Angels, what they were going to do was they were going to kind of ignore the whole, like, women are treated this way and looked down upon for this reason, and kind of like that. And I kind of wish they ignored that and just showed these badass women doing really awesome like spying and business like action combat stuff, and kind of like it to me ignored the fact that there's the division and just showed it doesn't matter that people think this way, because it doesn't matter. These women can just do these awesome things. At the same time, I kind of appreciate that it brings up these like thoughts for a conversation, but I almost thought I would have like I feel like I would have liked it more if it was just a John Wick of women, you know?
That's fair. Can I say why your opinion may be that way? And you probably already know my answer.
Go ahead.
We aren't the target audience.
Yes.
Um, which is okay. We aren't the target audience.
Mhm.
That's fine, in my opinion. So our opinion's going to be a little different, and how we interpret it's going to be a little different. Because we aren't exactly, the two of us aren't exactly the most of diverse people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We have we have
We're
we
not
have
totally straight white men who were born in, well, raised in the same city at least. That's totally not the two of us.
would you consider it suburban or rural?
Depends on which neighborhood.
That's actually a fair point.
Oh, God damn it.
So again, our understanding, because I understand having a power piece, especially right now. Like, it makes sense. Some of my issues are more of from a continuity point with that, and I can get into that with spoilers. Where I have some issues where like timeline lines up.
Okay, yeah.
With that, because I'm okay with the like personal opinion. I'm okay. Lean into it. You've got an audience for it. Go for it. Like, fuck, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The problem, in my opinion, is the problem that it brings up is we're gonna end up in the same fight we end up with every time. Where like when we had to deal with the troll from when we talked about Captain Marvel.
Yeah. We're just social justice warriors, man. Here to ignore the thoughts of the ignorant and yeah.
Kinda, yeah. Like,
I was about to say I could keep going, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I mean, we already went through that before, and see, that's the thing, and the thing is, that's gonna happen regardless with this film.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are gonna complain. People, I bet you, we didn't see it, but I bet you if you looked at forums and stuff like that, people complained about Anna being just a female John Wick.
Probably, yeah.
So no matter what, no one wins. That's just the way it works. Is it cool and fair? No. It's just the way it is. Shit sucks. People suck. It's what they do. As female power is viewed differently completely into the 70s. Well, yeah, and the thing is, it's done in the first 5 minutes of the film, I want to say. But they talk about the fact that this is technically a continuation from the 70s and the 2000s Charlie's Angels.
In a way, yes.
Yeah. They mess with the timeline a little bit and change a couple things, but it is a continuation. And in my opinion, actually, I want to say, the cast is actually kind of like, I do like the way they interact with each other. Like, I like the way that, for everyone who says that Kristen Stewart can't act, you just have to have a role that lets her kind of act into it better. She is kind of more...
You know, I was kind of thinking that too. Literally right before the podcast even started, I was making the graphics for this movie. And I was thinking, I enjoyed Kirsten Stewart in this movie. I thought she genuinely did a good job. And the only thing that I was thinking, I was like, I couldn't really notice any moment in the film when she was just like her normal, like, mouth agape self from like the Twilight. And then I looked through like all of the still images on Google, and like every single picture of her is with her mouth just partially open, and it's kind of funny. But
Well, I mean, the thing is, comparing Kirsten Stewart to her role in Twilight isn't fair because Twilight isn't going to show off the best of acting.
no, this is also just a completely different film.
Well, yeah. Oh, and the thing is, it's written different. Like these actresses and actors are all given like roles that fit into their actual skills. Like Kristen Stewart plays a very good sarcastic character.
Mm-hmm.
Like she does a really good job with it because the entire time throughout the film, like you buy that her character just really doesn't communicate with people well. She doesn't people well is the best way to put it. And so like she just
Oh, breathy, dude! Snow White. Quick side tangent: Snow White and the Huntsman. Her like hero speech before the main conflict is honestly the worst like motivational speech I've ever seen in a movie.
that's also not a good film.
Well, yeah, but still.
I'll say this. This isn't a good film either, but it gives the I mean, I won't say it's not a good film. It's kind of I would say it's honestly it's way more like upper middle road than the other one was.
Yes.
Because we gave that one like a lower middle road.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this is higher up middle road. Like I'd rather watch this than I'd rather, which I didn't expect to say that this month. I would rather watch this than Dark Fate.
I mean, in all honesty, like I'll probably end up seeing this at some point again in the future with like my like the way I see this happening. Terminator Dark Fate, I'll probably watch it once or twice with my dad because me and my dad like to watch movies every once in a while. Even if it's something weird like Aquaman, which we've already seen 6 times, we'll probably end up watching it again sometimes because it catches our attention. But I feel like we'll watch Charlie's Angels more than we'll watch Dark Fate as well. Like, especially because this is just there's a little more charm to it for sure. It's definitely not quite the nearly as it's definitely thankfully nowhere near as sexualized. That's 100% for sure. It's not 100%
Well, also,
free
I want
of the
to say,
sexualization,
but it does it in a more. We're gonna get if people ever watch this on YouTube in the future and they're just that very, ignorant mindset. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get commented on it for being SJWs. But what I'm gonna say is, it's more in an empowering way, rather than the male gaze way.
I would think so. Yes. Yeah, like
at least from how I interpret it.
yes, at least yeah.
And
as a white male, we interpret this movie as a more empowering use of their feminism and their sexuality than in the first movie.
which part of that is also because Elizabeth Banks also did write and direct this, and she acted in it, because she was one of the Bonslays. So it was, I guess that's part of why it has that, you know what I mean? Because the problem with Dark Fate, too, was the fact that, like, the other advantage this has over Dark Fate is it doesn't spit in the legacy of the previous films and previous shows, while Dark Fate kinda does.
I guess it depends on how, like, in what aspects you're looking at it, but yes.
Well, in the sense of...
I mean, we don't need to clarify on Dark Fate. We should clarify more on this movie. But
Oh, I can clarify more on that with the spoilers, I guess. Well, no, because it's the first time. Like they don't erase what has happened with the legacy of the title, Charlie's Angels. Instead, they expand upon it and add to it, and that's part of its collective identity now. While with Dark Fate, it was, hey, everything else that happened after 2 doesn't matter. Also, what happened in 1 and 2, they happened, but they also don't matter.
But without 1 and 2, Dark Fate never happened.
But it doesn't matter because no matter what happens is going to happen, apparently. You know what I mean? Well, in this one, it's just a continuation.
Didn't you nag at me for that kind of thought when it came to Avengers Endgame?
That's different.
Or was it
Infinity War?
Infinity War,
Infinity War. You always say in Civil War instead of Infinity War. I swear to Christ, Stephen.
Avengers Civil War. That is Captain America 2, right? That was also the wrong Captain America, but you didn't get mad about that.
No, it was collective, all right? No. My thing about that was we didn't even know what they were going to do to resolve what happened in Infinity War, right? Mm-hmm. It was still up in the air, and what they did with it was they took the legacy from Iron Man 1 to Endgame and still used that. Mm-hmm. They built upon that. They respected that. They gave moments to even fucking Dark World, which is collectively the bottom of every person's goddamn Marvel list. Mm-hmm. Because it's kind of boring. It's the most forgettable, which is probably its biggest offense. It's not even that bad of a film, it's just forgettable. And gave more life to that film. Mm-hmm. That's the understanding of legacy. This film does that in a lot of ways too, by adding to the legacy with the Bonsleys and the ranks and like the legacy people who show up in it, and cameos and stuff like that. It adds to it a little bit, which you can't say that Dark Fate does, because Dark Fate just says, yeah, they stopped it, but it happens again anyways. What happened in 2 doesn't matter because it's going to happen anyways, just with a different name. Mm-hmm. Also, that character that you really care about doesn't matter because he's...
Well, if he survived, then the other organization never would have thrived, right? Oh, we're getting sidetracked.
We are getting sidetracked. But what I'm trying to say is, like, it respects the legacy of what it comes from. Mm-hmm. Like, even the dumb moments, it still respects that they happened. Yeah, you know?
I get that. I understand what you're saying.
I know. Which gives it more of an advantage than, like, this month. Going into this month, I expected that I would not... Because I was talking about legacy, okay? That's how I talk about legacies, because Marvel really respects its legacy.
Let's say, every podcast, Dev will find a way to talk about Marvel.
Just hey, listen, Jamon Honso, I can never say his name right. Also known as Who, from Guardians of the Galaxy, was in this film. So, hey, I've got my connection. I don't even need... I have a reason to bring up Marvel anyways. It's just... I don't know. It respects its legacy, which works really well for it. Also, again, and that just it baffles me that we went into this month. I thought, honestly, I knew which 2 weeks were probably going to be the roughest. Mm-hmm. It was going to be... I thought it was honestly going to be this week and next week.
But what weeks have it been, really?
Honestly, just Dark Fate. Yeah. This week wasn't that rough, except for one of the films, and then the other film was just kind of like, you know?
Yeah. I get that.
Like, it wasn't a, it was a,
What if that's actually how we rated our movies, instead of out of popcorn kernels? So, yeah. Yeah. That's a good one.
Lowest.
We give this movie our rating of...
Anyways, no, it's honestly, it's got charm to it. Like, it's got some charm to it. The cast is good. Fucking Patrick Stewart's in it, and you always love Patrick Stewart. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't. He's not even that big of a role in this, and you love every scene he's in.
Yeah, I guess
Because it's Patrick Stewart.
it's just the Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
It is the Patrick Stewart. So, like, other than that, like, I think, like, I don't know, it's it's all right. There's,
Yeah. It like if I had to think of one other thing that I just kind of Oh, one question I have for you.
yes.
What did you think about the team dynamic and how it was how in other Charlie's Angels it's usually three team members that all have worked together, have all been trained and they know what they're doing. What do you think about this one where it's not quite that same dynamic?
It makes sense for the fact that it's a continuation from that point. And the
Mhm.
way they set up, they establish the way the organization works now, it makes more sense because you're not always gonna like in a group like that, you're not gonna always work with the same agent twice.
Mhm.
Until like they notice that you work well with someone, and they're like, "Hey, odds are we'll set you guys up to work again in the future."
It's like a sorority.
Eh, it's an organization. Like I look at it more like at work, right?
Mhm.
Let's say at your job, you work in a certain department, someone else works in a different department, and you have never interacted with each other really. But suddenly there's this new thing that they need done, and they pull you two to do it, and it gets done really well. You guys both worked for the same company, same potentially even the same building, but you've never interacted with each other. But suddenly you work on one project together, and you do really well. Odds are people are going to take note of that. That's how I look at it.
Mhm.
So,
Sure. I'll give you that.
I gotta say though, Naomi Scott's good in this, and Ella Balinska. I feel like I did that all right.
I think that one's right.
Yay! I'm getting better, people. God, if you guys like, this isn't me try. I don't know how to bring this up, but like, if you guys have seen me on my streams, I'm awful with names. So like, I don't know if I've ever explained that here, but like, just know it's not just real names; it's fake names too. I'm awful at this shit.
It's just every name.
So
We
it
can't
really
read.
is.
See, that's a
Uh,
good example of a name that Dev would have a hard time reading.
I had to reread it 3 times just to make sure that I was reading it as yeet yeet potato. Um, as yeet yeet potatoes key. Um,
What's poppin' is nothing much, really. Thanks for stopping by. Um, we're just talking about Charlie's Angels from 2019.
yep.
Is there
Um,
anything else in this movie you wanted to talk about specifically? Like, I know we're talking a little
um,
bit about the actresses right now. Actors, I guess, technically. Um,
I would say also that like the cinematography is hit or miss depending on what it is. Like it's real. I'd say it's good in a lot of it, but the action it gets a little. If it's fist fighting action,
yeah,
if it's hand to hand action, it gets a little off.
yeah.
The rest of the action, like gunplay action,
Hmm.
it does a good job. There's actually a really good scene where they're in this factory thing, and you can follow the scene really well because the character Jane, played by Ella, she like you follow her essentially dive out a window,
Yeah.
and it's a really well shot scene, in my opinion, because like it has some breaks in it, but it works really well from the angle, so you can see from perspective why they aren't exactly hitting each other with every shot.
Hmm.
Um, so I feel like that scene works really well, and that shows that this film did understand points of its action, and how to do it. It just knew how to do the gunplay the best. So
Yeah, I would, for the most part, give you that. There were definitely awesome moments in this movie, thanks to the cinematography. Like the one moment, the car chase early on with Bosley and Ella or Jane. Like that was pretty cool. Uh, some of the technology and uh, I just overall, I would, I don't know, I can't really say other than like spoiler stuff at this point. and just giving a rating, like I would say this is a good movie, for sure.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near the best movies we've seen this year, but
No.
it's not even the worst movie we've seen this month. That's come out this month.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I'll give you 10 popcorns and we can
Okay.
talk about spoilers.
All right. So with those 10 popcorns, I will give this movie. I'll give it a 6. 6 popcorn. It's almost a 6.5 for me. It's not quite. It's definitely not quite a 7. But like, it's funny. I liked it. It had good moments. It's just kind of there. But it's definitely better than just your average middle of the road movie. That's 100% for sure.
I thought we gave Dark Fate a 6.5.
Then give Dark Fate a 6 then as well.
Retroactive, because I was honestly, the more we talk about it, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Okay.
Um, just because I was on the 7, but the more we talked about it, there were certain things I did enjoy a lot. I mean, and the things that I didn't enjoy didn't affect it too much. There is one CGI fire scene that bugs me. That looks like a really bad after effect.
Okay.
Um, but it was only one scene, and so like I was like, it's the one time and only time this entire film had a bad fire. I'll let it slide the one time. If it was gonna happen again, I was gonna be like, all right, this is bad. But it doesn't happen, at least from a CGI standpoint. So, that being said, I did enjoy the camaraderie of it
Yeah.
more. So 7.5.
All right. Awesome.
So that rounds up to a 7.
All right, so then let's move on to our spoiler discussion of Charlie's Angels from 2019.
Let's get ready to
So,
spoiler!
if anybody doesn't want to be spoiled, now's your time to leave. Thanks for stopping by. We do appreciate you being here. But it's time to spoil Charlie's Angels.
Skip to this point for the new. I'm joking,
Yeah,
Stevens.
please don't.
That's
The less work you give me, the better. Thank you.
That would have been funny.
I mean, that would have been disappointing because, like, I don't really have much news. I didn't really do much research, in all honesty. So, if there's news, I don't really know of any. So it'd be like, skip to this point, and then it'd be news section. I'll be like, well, there's not much here, so here's next week. See you later.
um, yeah. So, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I wanted to talk about. I kind of wish, like, don't get me wrong, love Sir Patrick Stewart, great actor, good role. I kind of just wish it was Bill Murray, almost.
I get it. I get it. Um,
Or even whoever was the original Bosley in the TV show from the 70s. I know they would probably be even older than Sir Patrick Stewart, but, like...
can I say,
Mhm.
they used him effectively enough because everyone loves Sir Patrick Stewart. So, the dupe, double dupe, as I'll call it.
The double dupe?
No, it's a dupe, double dupe. Because you get the first dupe, and you're like, oh, I mean, I saw it being set up, but I didn't actually expect them to, it was it was the obvious choice, so there's the dupe, right?
It's like, it's just because we know Sir Patrick Stewart and we think, like, he's the good guy. Based off of past
Yeah.
movie experiences with this actor, we know he's the good guy.
And then the double dupe happens.
And I was like, oh.
Where you find out that not only is Elizabeth Banks actually a good guy, but also Sir Patrick Stewart is the bad guy. Like, not just the bad guy, the bad guy. And I was kind of like, oh, why? But then he goes full into it, and it's fucking awesome because it's Sir Patrick Stewart. Literally, it's Sir Patrick Stewart not giving a fuck.
Mhm. It was nice to see for sure. It was a slightly different angle of him because he normally is the good guy. Like in all of my memory of him, he's always been the good guy. So it was nice to
Fuck, he's
see.
Picard and Xavier. Like,
Yeah, so it was definitely nice to see him doing. It was different for sure, and I enjoyed it. And he's. It just, I don't know, like. It's just, I just because I guess he's permanently typecast, he just felt very arrogant to me. We look great from a hospital bed. Well, thank you for watching us from your hospital bed. So
hopefully you're doing all right, man.
yeah. Will you stop dying, please?
Well, I appreciate them.
The casting of it. I'm surviving. Okay, good.
The casting, honestly, the cast is good. Like, the cast is very good in this film. That's probably, honestly, the cast is probably the strongest point of this movie. In all honesty.
They fit the roles very well. From whoever plays whoever they're supposed to be, like, they all very much fill whatever was supposed to be done.
I think again, one of the strongest casts was casting Sir Patrick Stewart as the double dupe bad guy, the dupe double dupe, as I'm going to coin it, because this movie has two dupe moments, because it's like, oh, yep, she's the bad guy. There's the first dupe. She's been duping you the entire film. But then it dupes you twice in thinking that not only is she a good guy, but also Sir Patrick Stewart is the bad guy. And it's like, oh shit. Didn't see that coming because he's so typecast. They use the typecast as such an advantage in this film. Mm-hmm. Because, like, Sir Patrick Stewart either plays the good guy, or he plays a bad guy. Like, he hasn't played the middle of the road that often that you don't see it enough. So when it happened, I was like, oh shit. He's the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that was definitely a part that kind of had me, like, it wasn't quite a big twist for sure. I knew there was something wrong with one of the two of them.
Yes.
And I just couldn't figure out which one it was. But so that definitely was one of the good parts of this movie. It kept me guessing on who was who. So that's kind of why, like, I was just looking at the IMDb rating for this movie. Overall, this movie is rated a 4.5.
Which is lower than the other one.
I was just looking at that too, because the other one's a 5.5, right?
Yeah. That's not fair to this film.
Yeah, I would definitely say this film is much better than the last one. So I don't know how, I don't know why. I mean,
it's because they also, let's be honest, IMDb doesn't look at their old ratings. They rate it currently. So they're probably comparing it to a lot of current cinema, which this year has been very hit or miss. But like even compared to this month, we had fucking Dark Fate. This movie's better than Dark Fate. What did Dark Fate get? Hold on.
Okay, so I was just ratings by demographic, real fast. Can you guess which demographic gave it the lowest rating?
Oh, white male.
No, actually. The lowest was females younger than 18 years old. They rated this movie at a 1.4.
1.4. Yeah, but there's only 5 of them.
True.
So I don't know.
I mean,
how
overall,
fair that is.
It's the largest rating overall. Like the one that I would say is the most decisive would probably be males from 30 to 40. Like
3.3.
Yeah, they gave it a 3.3, and that's about a third of the votes cast, or the ratings cast. So.
Yeah. I don't see how 35% of the votes have been 1 star, though.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. Like, where are those 2006 1-star votes that were not being shown on this divided by demographic here?
You know what? I bet you. Well, is this movie voted by us? Are we able to vote? Oh, we are. Is it user votes? IMDb users? Yeah. I bet you this got bombed a little. Hold on. You know where I'm going to go?
Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes. Where here, Charlie's Angels got a 58. Higher than it did over there, with an 81 audience score over on Rotten Tomatoes.
So, arguably better.
Yeah. Again, why I don't really go off of IMDb ratings, because I rarely ever agree with them.
See, I'm gonna check one more thing. Metacritic. A 51% on Metacritic. Only 36 critiques.
Okay, this is still it's got so the 2000s Charlie's Angels has a lower audience score but a higher reviewer score by 2%. Or no, sorry, 10%. Weird on Rotten Tomato.
Mm-hmm. This is it's weird. There's so many divisive divisive reviews. This person right here, a user review, gives it a 10 out of 10. This movie is a must-see for action nerds. The people are given bad reviews are triggered by the trend of action movies geared towards women. Production companies are starting to realize that women like action movies too, and you can explain blah 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 blah, and explaining that acting, the screenplay, the cinematography were top notch. Don't miss out on it. And then you scroll down to like one of the ones. And it says, I would defend movies like Captain Marvel and Star Wars, The Last Jedi and stuff. I still do. But this reboot of Charlie's Angels was just too extreme with its politics, even for the moderate conservative.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like, I don't... Maybe it's just me, but if it's not, again, it's probably not targeted towards you then.
True. Like, don't get me wrong. One of the complaints I read on this 1 star, like this 1 out of 10 review, says the characters have very little to no development from the beginning to the end, which, true, I could kind of give them that. Like, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, the characters themselves don't really change. Maybe the only one that does is Elena, but,
yeah.
like, still, that's not a 1 out of 10 movie.
No.
So, there's that.
Because Jane and Sabina learn teamwork throughout the film. That's their character development, is being able to work with someone else.
True.
Directly.
In a way, yes. I mean, like...
It's not... I'm not defending it as the best.
Yeah, go ahead. I was about to say...
It's not the best character development.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There wasn't nearly enough conflict between the two of them to show them getting together more, but... Because the only real bit of conflict was at the very beginning of the movie, which was just a setup for the actual portion of the film that was important. So
yes. Again, I don't know. People are gonna vote the way they're gonna vote on these things because of just people can't deal with a film that's not targeted at them. It's the same thing that happened with Black Panther, shit like that. I don't know. It bugs me. I don't know.
I actually have people in my family who don't watch Black Panther because it's not marketed towards them.
I mean, fair, for one. If it's not marketed towards you, fine. It's not... Mm-hmm. You don't have to watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not marketed towards you, okay, fine. But, like... At least... Do they admit that it's not marketed towards them? Is that why they say they don't watch it, or is it other reasons?
It's other reasons, but they say because it's not a movie that they feel they would enjoy. It's not something that... yeah.
That's more honest than other people are about it.
It's true.
In my personal opinion.
That's true.
So, again, I honestly, like, I would give it a, I would say it's at work, I don't necessarily say you need to see it in theaters.
No.
But, it could be a fun rent it.
Is there a most memorable scene for you? Like a moment.
I gotta say, it's the action scene when she slides down the chute.
Mm-hmm.
And they do the act. That scene, action wise, is memorable because it does a lot of cool stuff. In my opinion, like the fight and then the chain and then like getting lifted up into the grinder thing and like everyone has something going on that there is their peril and they're all still working together as best they can.
Yeah.
for being inexperienced with working with each other and knowing what their strong suits are and what their weaknesses are with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they all I feel like that fight like sets up stuff on the future fights towards the end.
I would get, yeah, absolutely.
What about you?
That's the
What's a
one that
memorable
kind of
scene?
gets their teamwork together.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you show them not working together well, and they lose, and then it's it's called good writing. Actually, surprisingly, this is you write it so that they lose a fight midway through the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they get to the final fight and they win, it feels good. That's a well written
I mean,
like
unless you're Dwayne the
progression.
Rock Johnson, which I believe has written in his contracts that he can't actually lose a fight. So
It usually is a draw of some sort when he's
yeah,
in a fight.
yeah, something like that.
At
Which
best, like
I mean, another side tangent, real fast, because we're talking about this. No, I'll save it for news. Actually, save it for news.
fair enough. Um, no, I'd say it's worth a watch, at least. You know,
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. I wouldn't say in theaters.
Seven.
That's definitely not go to see it in theaters kind of movie. Maybe rent it for sure. Uh, I'm trying to
unless
think.
you're going with a friend, you can go to this with theater with a friend. I'd say.
Yeah, maybe yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. Like I'm trying to think of my favorite scene in this movie, and I honestly couldn't really think of one. Oh, the corporate espionage when they're breaking into the lab.
Okay,
And they're all
that's
dressed
pretty
the
good.
same. That one was pretty good.
Because there's a lot of good faking out during it, so
Hmm.
I feel that's pretty good. That's a good one.
There's one scene that I thought kind of was distracting, and I was like, "What? Why is this?" And that's when they break into the house or the party, and they just start dancing because they know the dance, and they have to get through the party somehow. I was like, "Okay." It it shows that they've done their research, I guess, and shows that they're prepared for this, but it just felt out
Yeah,
of place as well to me.
yeah. I will say it was a little. It was a little. It broke the mold for a second of the movie. It felt a little out of place. So I can agree with that. It was the most distracting bit of movie.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's not a bad film. Uh,
Let's see other important things. Oh, what'd you think of Saint?
oh, the boss, the CEO dude.
No, well,
Oh, Saint,
yes,
Saint, yes,
yeah, the guy who just
the guru.
who knew everything about everything, basically.
As he's Q. That's the way to describe him. He's
Hmm.
their Q, except instead of giving Bond like all the goodies, he also instead of just giving Bond goodies, he also gives him health advice.
I was about to say it reminded me a lot of the bartending scene in John Wick 3 when he was like, "I'm thinking about something for
Yes.
dessert." And like it's all subtle, nonchalant. We're going to murder people and I know everything about the human body, so don't mess with me, but hey, I'm here to help.
Yeah, no, that yeah, I can see that. It's a Q meets the bartender,
Hmm.
just put into a California health inspector or health guru
I was about to
form.
say I was going to say you think of him and it's kind of like a California hippie dude. Well, maybe not hippie, but
I think I see like a California like, but I will say he apparently like I bet you he act like with his skill sets he probably actually is a good health guru.
mhm.
Um, given what line of work he works in.
So
So
it was funny to see him like know that someone's rib was out of place just by holding their hand.
apparently it's more common than we think.
It'd be nice to get that figured out for myself. If I have something out of place, I've got this weird like snap and ah.
Dude, that would if a guru did that to me and all of a sudden it popped into place and everything just felt good, I'd be like, oh my god. Because like you remember when I had the little green armband thing that I had to wear in middle school
Hmm.
because I had a dislocated growth plate. Um, I'm pretty sure there's still something messed up from that. So like some person could just be like, oh yeah, I can just
Huh.
oh, because like that thing has affected me since then. Because there was one time when weird side tangent for a second when me and Steven were in band and we were gonna do the Fiesta Bowl and we started practicing through November and it started raining in November. And it was really cold. My arm went numb and I couldn't really move it very well. Like I couldn't get my arm to go past here. And during that song, I had to go to sixth.
Oh yeah, that's the most dangerous thing. If you're become a music writer for a marching band, please don't write a trombone music with them playing C's all the way at the very end of the staff, bottom of the staff. Like that's dangerous in the marching field. They're like 6 feet long
But
at
it's
that point.
harmonic. And they all should have valves, Steven. They should have the
Triggers.
trigger.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, but some of us couldn't afford a trigger.
Exactly.
And listen, you got to use a triggered trombone, motherfucker.
I did. At one point, I even got the March tuba, which was valved. Ooh.
Ooh, fancy. But no, So
Is there
back on
anything else
track.
in
It's
this
just
movie?
enjoyable. Nah, I got nothing else. I enjoyed it. I
Okay.
enjoyed it for what it is. It's a simple action flick.
Yeah.
That's what it is
Definitely better than the 4.5 that people are giving it.
on IMDb.
Yes. So, with that being said, I guess we're talking about some news and things. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, since we brought it up a little bit, is Black Adam has a release date now. Not an official release date, but like it's supposed to be coming out in the year 2021.
Maybe.
Supposedly. There's
We'll
been a
see.
teaser trailer released and everything, and it shows Dwayne the Rock Johnson as Black Adam. But I'll be completely honest here. My thought is like, what's gonna happen if Black Adam fights Shazam? Like, obviously, a Black Adam movie could work with Dwayne the Rock Johnson because Black Adam has to, or Dwayne the Rock Johnson has to win, so that's in his contract. But what happens when he fights Shazam? Good guys have to win, and Black Adam's not a bad
Oh
guy.
no! They're
But
gonna rewrite it so Black Adam and Shazam end up mutually bettering each other.
hmm and then they'll separate,
No!
and Black Adam will
You
go
can't
back
make
to his
Black
time
Adam like
period.
that. Black Adam is a fucking. Black Adam's sort of kind of fascist, right?
I kind of had a feeling. The only real experience with Black Adam I have is like the one or two Injustice Let's Plays I've seen people play, and those aren't even really the accurate Black Adam. So,
They're accurate to the character. The comics do a good job of him. He runs the country very dictatorshiply.
okay.
Um, so, what? I'm also surprised Dwayne signed up for it to have a solo film, and I'm still surprised they're doing a solo film with
They
Black Adam.
they've been talking about this Black Adam solo film for years at this point.
It just never strikes me as the right move, though, for that character.
No, like just in general, like movies that aren't really about main characters don't seem like a good idea. Like don't get me wrong, Joker, okay movie, but was very hit or miss with many audiences. Uh, Batman movies usually go better than like Suicide Squad or like it's just that if it's not a main.
Suicide Squad can work, though.
Mhm.
Again, we'll see with James Gunn, because James Gunn can probably make that work.
I get that, but it's still like you're not going to see a movie about Killer Croc.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
Or King Shark, or Boomerang, or Harley. Wait, no, sorry, she gets to be a part of Birds of Prey.
But that's not
Still,
just Harley. That's all of the birds.
hey, listen, she's not even supposed to be a Birds of Prey. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Just give Harley Quinn her own spin-off movie on her own with this Gotham City Sirens at if you want to do a team up with her, who was a fascist? Black Adam. Black Adam, I believe, was like a fascist dictator sort of character. If I remember my history correctly, he was like that, like especially when he's he's from a different era as well. That's probably why he's dictatorish, is because he's technically from like ancient times,
Yeah.
like gods and kings. So he still kind of follows those ideals, and he believes he's both, you know, because he does have the powers of a god. So again, don't really see how a solo like about him's gonna work. Because no matter what, you either tarnish the legacy of Black Adam as being a really strong villain in the DC universe and make him more sympathetic and make him more likable and make him some character that you can approach, and then you're like, oh yeah, we do live in a society. I mean, what? Sorry, wrong movie. I don't know. Villains are a weird bag to make a film about.
Like, it's interesting. Like, I would love to see a movie maybe more specifically about Killmonger, like when he was going through his things. I would also like to see a movie maybe a little bit more about Thanos and when he's doing his stuff. But it all really depends on the villain and if they are even sympathetic in some ways. Like, they have to be good villains and to be something that we have to appreciate. So,
You can't make a movie about a villain that's just evil.
yeah.
That's my thought. Because, like, again, Black Adam is just kind of evil in the comics.
Just kind of is.
Now, like, a character like Doctor Doom, who has a lot of mixed stuff in him, like, he cares about his country. He might be sort of. He's a dictator, but at the same time, he does actually genuinely really care about his people. It's shown recently in the most current run of the Doctor Doom comic. He literally gives up his dictatorship because they were going to start attacking his country, and he knew that just looking at it that there would be too many lives lost of his people. That's an interesting character.
Mm-hmm.
Black Adam doesn't give a shit.
As long as he still has his little, like, power thing that he sits upon.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It'll be. We'll see how it goes.
Yep. So, there's that at least. Two other things I actually had. Have you seen the new Sonic redesign?
Yes.
What do you think?
It looks better. It looks way better.
It looks a lot more
it looks like Sonic. Yeah. It makes us going to go see it more worth it.
Yes. Good thing it doesn't come out for another 3 months. But
Did you hear how much it added to the costs of the movie?
no.
It added, I think, 35 million
Oh,
to the budget.
Jesus Christ.
So people complaining about how Sonic looked need to go to that film to make up for the fact that they spent an extra 35 million on that fucking film.
Mm-hmm. But like it's definitely. Oh, is one other thing that I wanted to talk about that I just thought of. But like this definitely is an interesting thing because it's just if the whole internet didn't complain, this movie would have came out last week. Maybe even this week. We could have been watching it this weekend instead of Charlie's Angels. But
Yeah, but then we wouldn't have sequels, reboots, and requels month. Which this film was kind of a requel. Fun fact. I thought it was going to be the reboot. It was the requel.
it was the requel. The requel inning.
Really, this was sequels and requels because it really wasn't a reboot.
I mean, Dark Phoenix was kind of a reboot. It was a
Dark
halfway
Phoenix.
or Dark Fate, sorry. It was like a halfway reboot.
Fair. Which someone made a joke about that Fox can't make movies with the phrase "dark pho" because Dark Phoenix and Dark Fate both bombed.
They did pretty bad. Oh, but sorry. One question I did have to ask though, because I did see the trailer for this new Sonic. What is your opinion now? Because now that I've seen this new trailer, it almost seems like this Sonic doesn't give like I feel like I know the plot of this movie based off this new trailer. And of course that's why I don't watch trailers, but I feel like what this movie is Sonic doesn't give a damn about his home world at all. And that's why he's left. And he's having a grand old time doing his own things, and then he meets this human who he interacts with, and he learns through this human that relationships and people are nice, and he finds his way to get back home to his own world to protect it after Robotnik somehow finds a way in at the end of this film. But like, I worry.
I say when you started that, I thought you were going to say he doesn't give a damn about his bad reputation.
I wish I was that funny, but no. But yeah,
I nearly interrupted you, but I didn't.
it's fine. But after watching the trailer for this movie, it just makes me feel like there's the movie like this is a movie where Sonic's the MacGuffin, not Sonic's the main character. Where things happen around Sonic, Sonic's just kind of there existing because he's super fast. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So like he just kind of exists with our main character having.
You mean
all the
he's the
problems.
Goku?
Sure. Yeah. I was more thinking like I guess maybe he's Dumbo.
I don't think this movie's gonna be as bad as Dumbo.
I mean I don't think so, especially now that they've redesigned it. But like that's what I'm thinking is Sonic's not going to be the main character in the Sonic film. It's obviously going to be this human person, and whatever's going to happen is going to be because of this human interacting with Sonic, and then it changes Sonic. Not because Sonic changes the human, or it's whatever.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's still what 3 months away.
Yeah, so I can't wait to have chili dogs. It'll be the first time I've had chili dogs in this house, most likely.
Are you seriously gonna wait till then to have chili dogs?
I mean, I've never had them, and we never buy hot dogs, so.
You've never had chili
Let me
dogs?
rephrase that. I haven't had them
okay.
here.
Oh.
Family.
Oh shit.
Yes, I've had chili dogs. They're amazing. You kidding?
Dude, I was
worked at
questioning our
Sonic where their main
friendship.
thing was like chili dogs, man.
Our friendship was on the line for a second. I'm being dead honest.
Chili dogs are good. All right, one more thing. Have you seen the recent resurgence? No, there's two more things. I'm sorry. Recent resurgence of the Snyder Cut.
With Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot both tweeting about it,
Yes.
and Zack Snyder retweeting both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, saw that.
People are theorizing.
People think it could be that it's because of HBO Max.
Yes,
And that
exactly.
they might release it there.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
My thing is, they say that the reason why it probably won't happen is because of budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have to budget VFX stuff that wasn't finished, and budget the fact that there was probably going to be needing reshoots with it.
True.
For a Snyder Cut, because all of his scenes weren't finished when Joss took over. So, and that would mean that you would have to pay Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Ezra Miller, everyone else, who played everyone else. That you'd have to, whatever scenes you need to do, you'd have to pay them again.
Yeah.
Because technically their contracts are up for that film.
Mm-hmm.
So,
that being said, like I 100% agree with everything you're saying. But when you're releasing a brand new streaming service and you need content to fill it, is it cheaper to make new scenes for a pre-existing movie or make a whole new movie?
again, probably cheaper.
So like
Let's be honest, if it's there, we're probably gonna watch it.
Exactly. Like, I honestly, don't get me wrong. The thought of a Snyder cut seems like a dream at this point, in all honesty. But, like, it logically to me, it makes more sense with HBO Max that it's a possibility. Like, they want to find a way to get people to watch their content. And if it's the same movie just with a different twist on it or a different tone or whatever, like, that's awesome. It's another thing to get an audience in. So, like, and it's not even a main like theater release either. It's just an extra thing that you can release on only be seen on HBO Max. So, sure, it might have some like ramifications with the tone depending if somebody has HBO Max, but I'll say the general audience of these DC movies does not. So, if they're still trying to keep their lighthearted, happy tone, releasing a darker Snyder version of this film on HBO Max makes sense to me.
Also, it would also make this film potentially more coherent because that was one of our biggest complaints about that film was that it does feel like it's directed by two people.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Which
hey, we watched the extended edition and it made sense, kind of.
no, it didn't. We watched the extended. We didn't watch the extended cut of Justice League. There isn't an extended cut. We watched the extended BVS, and it makes more sense because the stuff that they cut on the floor would have made the movie make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
There were certain ones that made sense why they cut it, but at the same time, there were other stuff where like, why was this cut? So, I don't know. I would like to see the Snyder cut if it happens. But also it doesn't. I don't know. There's no way to guarantee that it's going to happen. So
Exactly.
we'll see. What was your last bit?
McClunky.
I have no problem with it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, for any of you who don't know the McClunky thing, apparently in Disney Plus, there's another edit to the original Star Wars film where instead of Han shooting first, and instead of Greedo shooting first, Greedo says McClunky, and they shoot at the same time.
It was Lucas's way of kind of finding a pass with both sides.
Mm-hmm.
The Han shot first, and the people who don't care. This was going to be the version of the movie that went to the 3D re-releases that only happened with Phantom, which I did go see that in 3D. I went. My dad took me and my brothers to Vegas, and we watched Phantom Menace in 3D. Not a bad 3D experience, I'll say that. It makes the pod race scene really different. It amplifies one of the best scenes in the movie. But they never got around to doing the rest of them because apparently it didn't do so well because they started with the Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd have thunk?
One of the
Maybe
least popular movies out there.
Maybe you should have got it release order. Just saying.
Okay.
So no one had seen this cut, so this is where they're releasing it. It doesn't bother me. They've already been so changed at this point that
It also wouldn't surprise me in Disney Plus if they're eventually going to release a theatrical release version of the movie and then a modern day release version of the movie. But because that's
I would love to see the theatrical versions of Star Wars.
Exactly. I remember a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away when I was a kid that my family, at least my mom, had the physical VHS of the theatrical releases.
The box set?
Yes.
With all three?
Yes.
Yeah, I had it.
I don't know where it is, but I want to find it now, and I want to watch those. Because...
Steven, if you find those and get a hold of them, I will literally make it so we can live in the same house. I will do what I can to make that happen. Just so I can watch the original goddamn Star Wars movies on VHS.
We just have to find a VHS player.
That's not that hard.
Are you sure?
Go to a pawn shop. You gotta have them there.
Okay.
Go to Vegas, go to a pawn shop, find a VHS. There you go.
There, figured it out. Okay, Dev, do you have any news this week at all?
No, but I want to bring back a segment. What are you watching?
What am I watching right now?
Yeah, hold on. I need to auto tune that at some point. What are you watching? What does that sound with the
Cartoon. Oh,
No,
that's
not
not
right now.
right. That's
Not right at all. That hard tune is really off.
Your effects keep changing. Is it?
Yeah, that's
really
really
weird. What the fuck?
fuck. Like
I don't know what it's.
tuned to. Oh, that's probably I don't know what it's tuned to. That's probably why it sounds really weird. Never mind. Continue.
But right now, shows that I'm watching. Um, let's see. It's mainly just HBO shows. So like I've been watching The Watchmen. I've been watching. What was that? His Dark Materials. I started watching that one recently.
How is that?
For the most part, I like it. It's let's see, how do I explain it? It's definitely like appealing. It's very very well made for sure, but it's at the moment to me not really super grabbing my attention. Like I'm watching it for sure because it's definitely very well made, and I enjoy watching how well made it is. But like the story itself isn't quite grabbed me yet.
That's fair.
I also did recently watch a show on Netflix called Blown Away. It's only one season, but it's competitive glass blowing, where yeah, they apparently it's a Netflix original where they built a glass blowing factory essentially, and it's the largest built in the whole U.S. And they get glass blowers to compete in themed challenges each week, and it was actually pretty cool. Like,
That's interesting.
yeah, it was tense and dramatic at times, but also very like inspiring as well. So, yeah, those are three shows been watching recently. How about you there, Dev?
Obviously Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
That's a given. Um, which it's great for me because it's a cross between two of my favorite things, Star Wars and spaghetti westerns. That's how I describe that movie so far, or show so far.
And it has
I'm enjoying it.
and it has really cute green babies.
Spoilers, bro.
It's cute and it's a green baby. Nothing else about it needs to be said.
Also, finally finished Rebels. Binge watched that over the last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The show definitely goes out on a high. I liked it. And just started the recent season of Rick and Morty.
Nice.
And of course, anime.
Yeah, of course. I'm still waiting. Like, there are 3 animes, well, 2.5, that I'm waiting for. Like, I'm waiting for My Hero to finish up its season so I can binge it all at once. I'm waiting for Food Wars to do the same thing because for some reason that dumb anime is one of my favorites. It's on its 4th season, so I want that to finish up. And then I'm also kind of waiting for Ruby season 7 to do its thing because I really
I'm
enjoyed it.
watching Ruby. Yeah, I'm watching that as well. So that's kind of all I'm watching.
Yeah, for me it always
You know,
changes.
Mine is probably going to be set like that for a little bit. At least it's going to be another this week, like this week and 6 more weeks. I think no, 5 more weeks of Mandalorian. I don't know how long Rick and Morty season is going to be this year, or this season. So I'll watch that every week, and then I'll watch Ruby, My Hero, and I'll probably find another show to binge.
Yeah, at some point there's just a lot of shows.
It
Oh,
really
I,
is.
I am oddly enough, I am kind of interested in watching that Claws show on Netflix. Have you heard
Nope,
about it?
haven't. Nope, nothing about it.
It's an animation where it literally just seems like a mailman meets Santa Claus and it's like Santa Claus' right hand man.
Oh, claws. Okay, now I know about that.
Yeah. And I saw the trailer
I
where
thought you meant
like
claws, not.
yeah, no. Yeah,
Claus.
it's Santa Claus
Santa
apparently.
Claus.
And another show, sorry. But I'm only interested in that because the one scene that I saw is like the mailman intimidating a child, telling him, Santa sees everything. He sees you when you're asleep, and he's like standing over the child, and like how it's framed cinematography wise, it's very intimidating. And then when he walks away from the kid, it's like bomb rap music, like I'm a motherfucking mailman as he's walking down, like kind of thing. And I'm like, oh god damn it, that's gonna be hilariously dumb.
That's fair.
Plus, in 4 days, the third season of Dragon Prince comes out, which is another Netflix original, and I like that show. I like
Fair
cartoons.
enough.
I don't know why. I watch a
There's
lot
nothing
of
wrong with that.
cartoons.
You're an adult. You can watch what you want.
Exactly. Middle-aged adult watches cartoons.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right. Anything else? Other than
Not
next
off the
week's
top of my
movies.
head.
Okay. Then let's talk about next week's movies.
Next week's movies.
Yeah, so next week, they're quite the interesting grouping of movies. Some would say they're the best-selling, well, could be the best-selling kids' movies of all times. We're watching Frozen and Frozen 2.
Yeah, I need to go to that Friday matinee as early as possible, just
Yeah,
to avoid as much.
I was about to say, I actually don't work Friday, so I'm going to try to see it as early as possible on a school day and hope that
Yeah.
not a million kids are there.
'Cause the only kids you're gonna have to deal with are the youngest, and that's like, you're already gonna have to deal with that anyways.
Mhm.
So regardless of where you are, so just reduce how many kids are gonna be there.
It's
That's
either
my
that
plan.
or I'm going to be seeing it around
Oh,
10 o'clock
no!
at night.
Oh no! Oh no! Never mind.
Okay.
I was worried that we were gonna have to deal with Thanksgiving people. Never mind. That's not true. That's the week after that. Which me and Steven already have the outline for next month, so look forward to that. It's gonna be interesting.
Yes. I mean, I'm just... Dev, you realize in 5 weeks, we would have gone through a full year of streaming this show. That's kind of impressive to me.
Without missing an episode.
I think we've missed an episode somewhere in there. I'd have to double check, but I have every single graphic that I've made. And I know there's at least one show. No, we might not have missed. This might be the only show where we haven't missed a single one all year. I'd have to double check that, but
Because there was no moves.
the only time that we the only time that could be considered that we didn't, or maybe the one where I was visiting my mom and my phone died halfway through the show.
That was Ant-Man, and that was last year.
Okay. Well, maybe we did a good this year. We have 5
can
shows to
literally-
prove it.
Well, that's that's true. That's true. I could literally just run through and watch and kind of like look at those weeks and kind of figure out what we did.
Maybe even 6 if we actually decide if we're doing a Christmas show or not.
My God, yeah, because no, January we did all 4 weeks because that was the M Night week or month.
Like, I'll
Um,
pull up all the graphics that I have here. Ooh, where did everybody go? There we go.
All the month graphics, you have them all, don't you?
Yeah, I keep all of the graphics. Let's see. I'm just trying to find like a date that's longer than 7 numbers apart. Let's see.
First February.
Let's see. We had 4 shows in January,
March.
4 shows in February. 1, 2,
5 in March.
5 in March. 1, 2, 3, 4 in April.
Yep.
2, 3, 4 in May. 1, 2, 3,
Yep.
4, 5 in June.
Yep.
4 in July.
Yep.
5 in August. Or 4 in August, sorry.
Yep.
5 in September.
Yep.
We definitely had all of our shows in October, but I wasn't there for the Halloween show. Or
Yeah, for the Zombie Land.
Yeah, the Zombieland show. And then we've had everything this month. So yeah. Yeah. We're doing good here, Dev.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, there's that. I've got nothing else if that's the end of us
Yeah, I got nothing else as well.
All right. So yeah, that's it for us here with Critically Casual, I guess. If you liked what you saw, give us a follow, give us a subscription, I guess. We're begging for all of your monies. Check us out on YouTube, where we post the VODs every week. They get up there eventually. We will eventually get that back into a better schedule like we used to have it.
The end of the year is going to be rough. It's just the way it is.
Exactly. We have shows. T-Pop is going to be airing at a different time now, but still Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It'll be 3
Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, Pacific Standard Time.
6 his time.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't set right either. I need to refix that because it says 5. I need to fix the our now live thing isn't quite right yet down below. Some of it's off.
All right, and yeah. So yeah, Monday through Thursdays we have shows. They're going to be at different times now, but still we have the shows. And also join our Discord, because Discords are cool and we're interacting, and that's when you can show articles or just give us opinions. Honestly. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us this week, everybody, on what was, I guess, an action-packed adventure that was Charlie's Angels. Yeah.
The spectrum of film.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see you guys next week with Frozen and Frozen 2. Until then, bye.
Until then, Steven, do you want to build a snowman?
Does it have to be a snowman?
I don't know the rest of the song. Okay, bye.